Tech Cocktail Conversations, candid insights from startup founders, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders from around the globe.
I think this notion of really continuing to carry a human voice through all of the brand profiles and pages that we all manage is going to be critical. I mean, I think like anything, it's like the cereal aisle. As there gets to be more and more clutter, more platforms, more brands being active on those platforms, I think the cream that'll rise to the top are going to be folks that stay true to just being people that work for a company that stand for a brand, and that's it. So that humanity, I think, is important. Facebook specifically is so entrenched in people's lives now. I wonder, I think it will be hard for someone to come along and unseat them in the near future. So I kind of anticipate there being maybe more specialized social media platforms. Like Pinterest is actually a really good example, and obviously it's kind of hit critical mass in the last couple months, but it definitely has more of that, food, interior design, photography, kind of like curated artistic vibe to it. And that's a great example of where something might come along that does a really good job in addition to the kind of Twitters and Facebooks of the world, but doesn't necessarily unseat it or replace it right away. I think that responsiveness is one thing that they definitely expect. Like the idea of customer service or troubleshooting some sort of technical problem, no matter what the brand is, whether it's an airline or it's a CPG or tech. I think there's an expectation that you can get a response pretty quickly, and if you don't, the brand is sort of considered a bit out of touch. Windows is such an interesting brand because the install base is literally 1 billion with a B globally, so it's almost like, who's your audience? Well, almost everybody. The demographic spans, multiple age groups, multiple geographies, and of course both genders. So it's one of the challenges we have is just how do we speak to everyone, so to speak, in a way that still feels very personal and very sort of thoughtful and appropriate for me, depending on who that me is. So I think that's when we think about copywriting and voice and tonality, which is so much of what happens on, say, a feed, a Twitter feed, or the Facebook wall. That's super important. And so one of the challenges is, what should that be? It should represent the brand, no matter who we're talking to. So if we stand for being open and human and vibrant and sort of like welcoming, then that's what it should feel like. That whole idea of talking to a large group, but imagining that you're talking to one person, and that actually works better. It feels more real, like a conversation, and then will actually work better across the masses. Social media is in very different stages across different parts of the world. So, a team that I work with in Argentina might be at a certain sophistication level versus a team that I work with in France, and resources are different, and access to technology is different. If I was to look through the kind of short list that we all are sort of very familiar with as far as who's doing things well, and ask myself kind of the next question, which is the why, and sort of what's that common red thread that connects them. I think often it's about taking risks and knowing that this space, while, sort of new, not really, but the newest across other traditional mediums, is really, can be very much a space to play. And that's a very scary thing for especially a large brand, because in many ways, social is the most immediate form of marketing that we can do. And so here we're saying, use this platform that is going to hit your consumers instantly, but just don't think about it too much. Just be risky and put yourself out there and hope for the best. That's a hard sell for a large organization, but I actually think it's that sort of go with your gut. And again, I go back to like, just be a human being and do what you think you would like, or what you think is cool, or what you think is compelling, or what you think is emotional. And I think oftentimes that's the stuff that wins the Starbucks and the Old Spices and the Walmarts of the world a lot of their fame.